So Lucasfilm has finally given us a release date for the Book of Boba Fett, as well as a lot of other information as well, which is a good thing because I think that a lot of this show has been a secret. A lot of this show is kind of an unknown entity. None of us really know what the Book of Boba Fett is going to be about. Until this point, you know, we got a little bit of information, and I think that this announcement, I think this overall, everything that's happening right now in the Star Wars universe with what shows are coming out, which movies are coming out, says a lot about the leadership of Star Wars, and I'll go into that later as well. I think it definitely says something about what's happening with the Kathleen Kennedy situation and the Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni situation, how much power they have at Lucasfilm and at Star Wars. But let's check out some of the news that we got about the Book of Boba Fett first. Lucasfilm and Disney announced the release date for the upcoming Star Wars original series, The Book of Boba Fett, and it honestly seems like they have this new tactic. It's kind of like the Netflix tactic where they don't tell us the release date of stuff until only a couple of months before the show comes out. Now, Netflix is kind of a little bit more extreme with it, where they'll tell us the release date of something, you know, 2 weeks before it comes out or something like that. I don't know why they do that, but it seems like Disney Plus is kind of going down the same route. I don't know why this makes sense business-wise. I guess you can kind of save money on marketing if you don't start releasing trailers 6 months out for the show or 6 months out from the movie, like a lot of these other people do, like a lot of these other studios do for their movies and for their shows. So that kind of makes sense a little bit, I guess, but I don't really understand the way Netflix does it. The way Disney Plus has been doing it kind of makes sense. You know, they give us a release date 2 months up, or I guess 3 months out from the show, and then they'll probably give us a trailer maybe in a month or maybe November 12th at the Disney Plus event. But if you remember back to The Mandalorian season 2, we were getting worried about the show because we didn't see a trailer until about a month and a half before the show came out. Every week on Twitter, people were saying, we're going to get a new Mandalorian season 2 trailer tonight. You know, every single week on Monday Night Football, they were like, they're going to release on Monday Night Football tonight because ESPN is owned by Disney. Every week they were saying that, and we never got it. You know, until a month and a half before the show came out, we finally got a trailer. We were getting worried about the show, but it seems like that's just their marketing tactic now. It seems like they're just waiting until right before the show comes out to really start pushing the show. Seems like the same thing is going to be true for the Book of Boba Fett. But like I said, I'll go into it a little bit later on in the video, but I think this does say a good bit about the leadership at Disney. It reads, The Book of Boba Fett, a thrilling Star Wars adventure. Here is a little synopsis that they gave us. Star Wars adventure finds legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett and mercenary Fennec Shand navigating the galaxy's underworld when they return to the sands of Tatooine to stake their claim on the territory once ruled by Jabba the Hutt and his crime syndicate. That's not really much to go on, as a post-credit scene following the season finale to The Mandalorian showed Boba Fett and Fennec Shand killing Bib Fortuna and taking over the Hutt's old fortress on Tatooine. Nevertheless, Disney Plus also released a new poster for the series. Take a look. This poster looks sick, man. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to buy something like this. This is really cool. I can't even tell if that's actually Boba Fett sitting there or if it's a drawing. I'm pretty sure it's a drawing, but it looks really good. I love the way this poster looks. It's so simple, but it's so, you can just tell the feel of this series, what it's going to be, just by looking at this poster. It's going to be so dark and gritty, and it's really going to explore the underworld of Tatooine, which I think is going to be really cool. You know, like I've said in the past, I'm not extremely happy about this show replacing the Mandalorian release date, or release slot, I guess, because I know that the Mandalorian was going to be released on the day that this is going to be released, and now it's pushed back to maybe even the end of 2022, maybe even 2023. Who knows when that show is going to come out? And that's really frustrating to me because I really wanted to see what happens after the Mandalorian season 2 finale. We're in a very interesting spot in that story, and to have it delayed 2 years is really, it's frustrating, but at the same time, I'm really happy that we're getting a Book of Boba Fett show. I just wish it wasn't instead of the Mandalorian season 2. I wish it was in addition to, but it is kind of instead, in the sense that we have to push back the Mandalorian season 2 another year. And like I said, very excited for the Book of Boba Fett, just a little bit frustrated that it has to replace the Mandalorian season 2, because I really want to find out what happens with the Darksaber. I really want to find out what happens with the Throne of Mandalore and what happens with Grogu. Who knows when we're going to see more of that? Maybe the Mandalorian season 3 will show us more of that. Who knows? But there hasn't been a lot of official reveals about the show, although Boba Fett actor Tamora Morrison did reveal the series would feature flashbacks, which is a very good thing. They need to explain how Boba Fett survived, but he told Rotten Tomatoes, we can't say too much, but we're going to see his past and where he's been since The Empire Strikes Back. Somebody pointed out he's been kind of stuck in this one place, and now is the time to actually go back and check out his journey and find out more about him. A rumor from earlier this month also claimed that we will see Boba Fett seeking revenge and searching for his fellow bounty hunters. Star Wars Newsnet, we have learned that in the series, Boba Fett is in revenge mode. He will be going after everyone who did him wrong in the past, and he will also be looking for other bounty hunters. So this sentence right here kind of gets me very excited, because he says Boba Fett will be looking for everyone who did him wrong in the past, and that he will also be looking for other bounty hunters. So he's not necessarily going after these bounty hunters who wronged him in the past. Maybe he's looking for other bounty hunters to help him out on killing the people who wronged him in the past. Maybe Mace Windu. Mace Windu was kind of leaked by Ming-Na Wen to be in the show. If you remember a while back, my boy X-Wing posted a video on TikTok, I believe it was, and he also posted a video on YouTube. I'll try to link that if I remember in the description. I'm not going to go too far into that, but you should check it out. I'm sure that if you just looked up Ming-Na Wen, Mace Windu, or something like that, you could probably find it. It'd probably be on X-Wing's channel. But she pretty much leaked the fact that she had never worked with Mace Windu or with Samuel L. Jackson before, and then she actually said that she's excited to work with a Jedi on set or something along those lines. So she kind of leaked that he was going to be on there, but she immediately backtracked right after. So it was a fishy situation. We don't know. It's very cloudy. It's very muddy. We don't know exactly what she was trying to say, but I'm pretty sure she leaked the fact that Mace Windu is going to be in the show. And if Boba Fett has to go out and collect other bounty hunters to defeat Mace Windu, I think that'd be super cool. I think that if the entire show is just him gearing up, and they don't tell us immediately, that's Mace Windu, just have him gearing up and, you know, telling others that he needs their help to go help him fight this foe that he has, and it ends up being Mace Windu. That'd be super cool. But like I said, this show was originally supposed to be The Mandalorian Season 1. You know, this says a lot about the leadership at Lucasfilm, and especially at Star Wars, because I think Kathleen Kennedy is still the leader of Lucasfilm, obviously on paper, but also I think that she truly does run the entirety of Lucasfilm outside of Star Wars. I think Star Wars is now Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni's domain to play in. I think it's mostly Dave Filoni because he has the title of head creative director. Jon Favreau probably could have had the title of head creative director, but I don't think he wants it. I think he'll stick around Star Wars for maybe a few more years, kind of see this whole Mandalorian universe timeline thing play out. And once that's done, he might move on, or maybe he'll stick around. I don't know, but I don't think that he wants to be any kind of studio head. I don't think he wants to run anything, have a title like head creative director. That's not him. You know, he wants to be out there in the field creating greatness. But this show, I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago, a Boba Fett movie was supposed to happen, and Josh Trank was going to be the director. That movie ended up getting scrapped. And whenever Jon Favreau first pitched The Mandalorian to Kathleen Kennedy, I believe, or maybe it was just Disney, I don't know who exactly he pitched it to, but he wanted it to be a Boba Fett show. But for whatever reason, I don't know the ins and outs of the contract that George Lucas signed or whatever, that they didn't want to pay to have Boba Fett in the show. They didn't want to pay George Lucas or anyone else, the authors who had Boba Fett in their books and all that stuff. They didn't want to pay to have Boba Fett in their show, so they told Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to create a new Mandalorian that could kind of be like Boba Fett, and maybe if your show is really successful, you can make a Boba Fett show. Well, that's kind of what happened. You know, it's kind of what Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni just straight up proved themselves, probably more than anyone could have expected, even themselves. They proved themselves over and over again. Dave Filoni with the Clone Wars and the, you know, people like the Bad Batch. I don't like the Bad Batch that much, but a lot of people do like it. It got a second season, so obviously Disney likes it. And then Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni together with the 2 Mandalorian seasons, they've proven themselves time and time again, especially with that Mandalorian Season 2 finale. I think it was the most rewatched episode of television of all time. So the fact that Jon Favreau is finally starting to get his Boba Fett stuff out, the fact that they're finally letting him do the Boba Fett stuff, it shows that, for one, Disney trusts Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to take that money that they're paying to use Boba Fett, if that is the case, and make a profit on it, because they all know they know how successful they were with The Mandalorian Season 1 and 2. But also it shows that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have enough power at Lucasfilm. They have enough pull in Star Wars and Lucasfilm and Disney to actually get this stuff done. It shows who has the power now when it comes to Star Wars, and I'm really excited about the future. I think it's a very bright future. I think that 2022 is going to be a huge year for Star Wars, and I think 2023 is going to be just as big. You know, the Kenobi show is going to tell a lot about the future of Star Wars, because it's not necessarily a Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni production, but it is going to be headed, obviously, Dave Filoni is the head creative director at Lucasfilm. Hopefully he oversees the show enough to make it a really quality show. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. What do you think about the Book of Boba Fett release date and the little synopsis that they gave, and also the future of Star Wars? Let me know what you think in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter, link to that in the description as well. Thank you for watching the video. Hope to see you next one.